What are the three most important events that happened in your life? Are there any other historic events, such as like 9/11 or things that relate to that happened in your childhood? Anything big, like anything with the economy?
Well, in Africa or Nigeria, where we grew up, I grew up in the village. Um, it's very difficult to be affected one way or the other by the economic situations of the country. However, another event that affected me was the Nigerian Biafran War, which started in 1967. I was in high school, my first year in high school when the war started, and as the Nigerian government started bombing our own side of the country, we couldn't go back to school for 3 years. We couldn't go back to school until the war ended. So you saw a lot of death, you saw a lot of starvation. The people died, so many children, so many elderly died of a disease called kwashiorkor, a disease that was purely caused by malnutrition and hunger. So a lot of people died, both off battleground or battlefield. A lot of people died in the villages in all parts of the eastern region, which was predominantly Igbo regions in those days, and added to the fact that we couldn't go to school, So that was another event in my life that was really disturbing.
Yeah, one more that really affect you.
Well, I would say another big event is, should I say, the 9/11?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, because we were here when that happened.
Yeah.
We were all glued to the television when the world, what do they call it?
World Trade Center.
World Trade Center, began to collapse because the planes ran themselves into it,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people died. For many, many months, this country was in a state of shock, and that precipitated going to war at Afghanistan and Iraq. So, and it affected the economy because there was no contribution, there was no demand made on the civilian population to contribute to the war. Rather, the so-called leadership, uh, the political leadership, national political leadership at the time felt that giving tax cuts to the rich
Yeah.
was the best thing to do. And now we know it wasn't the best thing to do. The so-called uh, job creators weren't creating any jobs at the time, and there's no way you could, you know, continue with that trickle down. If you give to the rich, it will trickle down to the poor. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people lost their jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and added to the fact that there was no regulation in the financial sector. That caused a lot of problems in the real estate market that we are still suffering today. So many people unemployed. So many people committed suicide. So many people have lost their homes. Uh, all were precipitated by the 9/11 incident,
Yeah.
and they went from there ever since. So those were the three major events that I could say. There are many.
Mm-hmm.
The loss of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Barely 6 months I came to this country,
Yeah.
and I was asked by immigration to leave this country, otherwise I'll be deported. I have, those experiences were, you know, so difficult at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would say that they perhaps informed the way I began to view life. I tried to struggle, work hard to make sure that I never faced those kind of situations before, and that my children will not go through what I went through in terms of those kind of situations which could be avoided if you have a little help in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never had.